Hello world. Today we're going to talk about Tiny Epic Tactics. I'm going to go through solo setup, take a quick look at some of the expansions, and talk a little bit about gameplay. So first you want to pick some characters. You've got plenty to choose from. You got wizards, fighters, beasts, and archers. So each character is going to have some stats too, and special abilities. Once you pick your characters, and grab the tokens and place them in the appropriate spots. So the archers have ammunition as well as the fighters. All of them have health. Then each has a meeple, a custom meeple to go with them. On the back side of the characters is the solo enemy side. So you're going to want to pick 4 of these, one of each class again, and place a heart token on their health. And each solo enemy also gets a meeple. Shuffle the solo enemy deck and place it next to the AI units. So for the regular game, you're using this side. On the back, it's going to be the solo time tracker. And place a spare token on the 7. That's where we're to start at. The tactic cards will give you a bonus if you meet the requirements. So each one has an if and then. So if you accomplish the if at any time, you get to immediately take the then action, or gain the benefit from it. Shuffle the tactics deck. Take 2, and you're going to pick 1. You're going to set out the 6 crystals, red side up. It shows where the crystal's location. The Crystal of Glory is the last one to get. And put together the board. So the rules say to gather up the 4 meeples of the solo enemy, shake them up, then randomly drop one. Then take the 3 flags, do the same thing, and that's going to tell you where the placement is for the first one. So I'm going to place the beast here on the gray flag. Now personally, I don't feel that method's very effective and it's kind of goofy. So alternatively, you could just place them where you want. Just kind of following those rules where 2 of them are on their own and the final 2 are together somewhere. As long as it's on one of the 3 flags. So to place your units, you're going to put them on the starter location, which is marked by these stars. With 2 on one side, and the other 2 in the opposite corner. Once you're set up, you can start playing. You always go first, then the enemy solo player. You can take up to 3 actions with your units. And there's 4 actions you can choose from. There's movement, melee attack, missile attack, or cast a spell. Your unit can take 1 action without penalty, but if it takes a 2nd action, it gets a weaken token. First thing you do on your turn is to move the counter down on the tracker. If it gets all the way to the end, and then you lose. So my first action, I'm going to do a movement in the Gamelyn Knight as a movement of 4. I could take a 2nd action with the Gamelyn Knight. It had to be different than movement, so it would be melee or the ranged attack, but then he would be weakened. On the following turn, a weakened unit can take no actions. I could pay 2 health to remove the weaken, and then he could take his actions as normal. or take 0 actions during that turn, and at the end of the turn, weaken would be removed. After your 3 actions, now it's the solo enemy's card, and they will activate 1 unit. Draw the solo card. It's telling us the beast unit. So the solo enemy will first check if it can do a melee attack, a missile attack, or a spell attack. If it can't do any of those, then it will perform its movement. Enemy unit is always going to move towards the closest of your units. After its movement, it'll check again for a melee attack, or a missile attack and spell attack. The beast is moved next to my knight, so it can make a melee attack. So the melee attack immediately does 4 damage, plus 3 from the solo card drawn. And then I'm going to roll 3 dice to check for knockback. Got 2 knockback. So that means his attack was so strong, it moved me back 2 spaces. Now if that caused me to hit a cliff edge, or off the map, or another unit, it would cause an additional point of damage. At the end of your turn, you're going to draw another tactic card. You can never have more than 2 in your hand. And remove a weakened token from the previous round. So play will continue. You'll take your 3 actions in your turn, and then the solo enemy will take its actions with a single unit. So remember, the main goal is to collect the crystals. To get the crystals, you've got to explore these different dungeons. To enter a dungeon, you've got to come through an entrance. Only 1 character is allowed in a dungeon at a time, and no characters can be on top. So the goal is to get to the crystal, capture it, but inside, depending on what path you take, you can face random monsters, a magic barrier, trap, cave-in, or a locked door. Only a rogue can enter the locked door space, and only a wizard can enter the magic barrier space. So here's the 2 expansions that I didn't bring out with me. Let me show you real quick what they look like and how they work. So each expansion comes with its own base, and then these foldable structures that will fit right over the harder cardboard ones from the base game. This is the Winter Highlands setup. And here's the Savage Wastelands. So I didn't cover all the rules or all the details with it. There's also different advantages and disadvantages depending on where you're at on the map, as far as being in the water or in a town, the forest. So overall the game is fun. I just feel that as a solo tactics game, it's just not as enjoyable as with other people. You know, I was, seems like I ran out of ammo and spell points, and the health would go down pretty quick, and I spent a lot of time trying to get the characters moving through the villages, and it just kind of became tedious, and it was hard to accomplish the goal when I was constantly having to refill all the characters' stats. And it's different feeling when you're playing against someone like that. So this is the only tactics game I've ever played as a board game. You know, I loved Final Fantasy Tactics on Game Boy, so I have to admit that I'm probably not a fan of tactics. And so a little bias in my review. What is great about the game, and it's true for all Tiny Epic games, is the size. So it's great for traveling. It's great to take out camping. You do have to be careful if you're camping with this game, all the little pieces. They can be lost real easy. So I give this, I don't know, 3 out of 5, or maybe 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. So let me know what your thoughts are on the game down in the comments. Thanks for watching.